let's talk about AI mode. It's something that we launched back, I think, last fall. I was really excited about it. It's kind of a next evolution of what we've already created, but there's still a lot of mystery around it, a lot of questions around what is AI mode, how does it work, what is it looking at?
When Adverank first came out, the original recipe for the algorithm, the way it would actually calculate, was based on really a supply and demand concept. So Adverank would look at occupancy, and it would look at what your occupancy goal was for the property. And so that was something that the operator could set within the software. It would also take into account ad spend and some demand indicators in the market by looking at the Google Ads account. And so what we did is we really treated that as like a classic mode, the original formula. And then we rolled out 2 additional modes, one called search dominance, which tends to be our most expensive way of calculating what a budget recommendation should be. It usually is a dramatic increase in spend. But we also rolled out something called AI mode that's quite a bit different than the original recipe, the classic mode.
One of the big data points was coming from Google telling us how much search demand we were missing out on based on a lack of budget. So that was one of the original data points. What are some of the other data points that are being used in the AI mode?
When we talk about AI at Adverank, we're talking less about like generative AI, which most people would be familiar with ChatGPT and some image and video creation tools. That's all really what is characterized as generative AI. What Adverank's focused on in this algorithm is called predictive AI and machine learning. So what Adverank is trying to do in AI mode is predict where occupancy is trending and see if demand is actually helping or hurting where the operator wants to see their occupancy get to. And then Adverank can help the operator know if ads budgets at least should push or pull in response to how that demand and how that trend is actually moving right now.
So it's less about what's happening on the Google side and what's happening on the occupancy side, but it's also comparing the past data relationships. It's been making those assumptions the whole time. So is that why we require 90 days worth of data in order to make those predictions more accurate?
Yeah, to be able to predict anything, you need to have some sort of historical data. And so what Adverank does is looks at 90 days of data to take into account really 3 months, so we can see 3 beginning of the months, 3 end of the months, and all the data in between. Adverank also compares that data set of 90 days of data that's been collected and processed to 6 months of data that Adverank has been collecting with campaigns running at hundreds of properties all over the country in primary, secondary, and tertiary markets to really see if there's some softening in the market or if there's a tailwind or a headwind, really trying to make sure that the operator isn't underspending or overspending based on how the demand might be pushing the property towards the occupancy goal or away from it.
So is AI mode just for everyone? Should everyone be in AI mode, or is there a reason why certain facilities maybe shouldn't be in AI mode?
Operators do start in classic mode with the supply and demand formula-based algorithm that does work, that does get you to your occupancy goal. Turning on and enabling AI mode is going to be providing a lot more accurate budget recommendations. It's going to be taken into account not just how campaigns and how occupancy and move-ins are responding today on this Wednesday, but looking at the last 7 days, looking at the last month, and looking at the last 90 days to see how things are trending, so it can become a lot more accurate. So classic mode certainly does still work. You can play with some sensitivity levels, so you can set how Adverank is calculating if you want it to be conservative, moderate, or aggressive. Looking at each property uniquely is probably a good idea, and seeing which mode is going to be best. Search dominance mode, like I said, is going to usually be the most expensive and the most radical increase in ad spend. But if an operator wants to earn that top spot on a search engine results page where sponsored or advertising links appear, search dominance mode is going to be what gets you in that #1 spot.